The hospital's fluorescent lights buzz like a swarm of angry bees, casting a sterile glow over the ICU waiting room. My sneakers squeak against the polished floor as I pace, each step a desperate attempt to outrun the dread clawing at my chest. My son, Liam, is behind those sealed double doors, his 8-year-old body tangled in tubes, fighting a battle no child should ever face. I'm Emma, 35, a single mom who's poured every ounce of my soul into keeping us afloat with my graphic design business. But tonight, none of that matters. All I can think about is the faint beep of Liam's heart monitor, a lifeline I cling to in the suffocating silence. It's 2 a.m. in Seattle, the kind of damp, bone-chilling night that seeps into your skin. I've been here for hours, maybe days' time blurs in this purgatory of antiseptic and fear. My phone sits heavy in my hand, a lifeline to the outside world I barely recognize anymore. I open my banking app, more out of habit than purpose, needing to know we can cover the next round of bills. The screen loads and my world stops. Checking, $0. Savings, $0. Business account, $0. $720,000 every cent. I've scraped together over a decade of late nights and missed dinners with Liam gone. My knees buckle and I grip the arm of a plastic chair to keep from collapsing. This can't be real. I refresh the app, my thumb trembling. Same numbers. Same gut punch reality. My pulse roars in my ears, drowning out the distant hum of a janitor's. An OP. I dial the bank, my voice cracking as I spit out my account details. The woman on the other end is calm, infuriatingly so, like she's reading a grocery list instead of dismantling my life. Yes, ma'am, she says. I see several transfers overnight, authorized from a recognized device linked to your account. Security questions were answered correctly. Her words hit like a freight train. No, I snap, louder than I mean to. That's impossible. I didn't authorize anything. She pauses, her tone measured. The transfers are made between 1:15 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. I understand this is difficult, but the system shows no breach. I hang up, my hands shaking so badly, I nearly drop the phone. Someone who knows me, knows my passwords, my secrets, has stripped me bare. The hospital walls seem to close in, the air thick with betrayal. I think of Liam, his small hand limp in mine just hours ago, his freckled face pale under the oxygen mask. That money was his future, our safety net, the promise I made to keep him safe no matter what. Now it's gone, and I'm drowning in a sea of questions with no answers. Who could do this? Who would dare? My mind spirals to the one place I don't want to go, family. The people who know my pins, my mother's maiden name, the first street I lived on. The people who've shared my table, my memories, my life. I don't remember deciding to leave the hospital. My body moves on autopilot, keys jangling in my hand as I stumble into the parking lot. The rain pelts my face, cold and relentless, mirroring the storm inside me. I drive south, the city lights blurring into streaks as I head toward the coastal estate in Oregon, a 3-hour trip that feels like a descent into hell. The estate, my father's pride, a sprawling cedar and glass retreat overlooking the Pacific, was supposed to be our sanctuary. Summers spent grilling on the deck, Christmases with Liam chasing cousins through the halls. Now it feels like a crime scene. I pull into the gravel drive, the crunch under my tires loud in the pre-dawn quiet. The house looms ahead, its windows glowing like judgmental eyes. My heart pounds as I push open the front door without knocking, the familiar creak of the hinges a betrayal in itself. The laughter from the living room stops dead, like someone flipped a switch. Nathan, my brother-in-law, sprawls on the leather sectional, a whiskey glass dangling from his hand, his smirk sharp enough to cut glass. Claire, my sister, sits beside him, her eyes darting to the floor as if she can hide from me there. The air smells of cedar and bourbon, a mockery of the warmth this place once held. Where is it? My voice slices through the silence, sharper than I intend. Nathan's lips curl that smug grin I've loathed since the day Claire brought him home. Well, hello to you too, Emma. He sips his drink, slow and deliberate, like he's savoring my pain. I step closer, my fists clench so tight my nails bite into my palms. Don't play games, Nathan. My accounts are empty. All of them. $720,000. Where's my money? He leans back, unfazed, his eyes glinting with something cruel. We needed it more than you. The words land like a slap, stealing my breath. Claire shifts, her voice barely a whisper. Don't make this about you, Emma. I laugh, a hollow, broken sound. Don't make this about me? Liam's in the ICU, fighting to breathe, and you've taken everything I had for him. How is this not about me? Nathan shrugs, like I'm a minor inconvenience. You'll figure it out. You always do. Rage surges, hot and blinding, but I swallow it down. I won't give them the satisfaction of seeing me break. My phone buzzes in my pocket, and I glance at a text from Claire. Don't make this. About you. We're all struggling. The audacity burns. I'm struggling to keep my son alive, and she's playing victim. I step onto the porch. The oceans roar, a distant echo of my anger. The rain soaks through my jacket, but I don't care. Their laughter resumes inside, sharp and mocking, like they've already won. But then I see the flicker of unease in Nathan's eyes as I turn to leave, a crack in his untouchable facade. He knows I'm not done. Not yet. The drive back to Seattle is a blur. My mind replaying Nathan's smirk, Claire's cowardice. I stop at a gas station, the neon sign flickering like my hope. As I fill the tank, a black SUV pulls up too close, its engine idling ominously. The driver's face is shadowed, but I feel their eyes on me, heavy and deliberate. My heart races as I fumble with the pump, the nozzle slipping from my hand. The SUV lingers, then peels out, leaving me shaking in the drizzle. Was that a warning? A coincidence? I don't know, but the fear sticks to me like damp clothes. Back at the hospital, I sit by Liam's bed, his small chest rising and falling under the weight of machines. His stuffed green turtle, worn from years of cuddles, sits on the bedside. Cable, a reminder of why I can't give up. I'm about to check my phone again when a nurse hands me a letter. No return address, just my name scrawled in jagged ink. I tear it open and a faint chemical smell hits me. My throat tightens, my skin prickling as I read. Stop digging or you'll regret it. My vision blurs and I stumble to the bathroom, my hands burning where they touch the paper. The doctor later confirms it was laced with a mild toxin, enough to scare me, not kill me. Someone wants me silent. Days bleed into each other, each one a gauntlet. I'm leaving the hospital late one night when my car's brakes feel sluggish, the pedals soft under my foot. I coast into a parking lot, heart hammering, and a mechanic later tells me the brake line was tampered with, a clean cut meant to look. Accidental. Another night, I come home to my apartment door ajar, papers from my father's estate strewn across the floor. Nothing's stolen, but the message is clear. I'm being watched. The final blow comes at the estate during a family gathering. I'm in the dining room, alone for a moment, when the chandelier above me groans and plummets, missing me by inches as I dive to the floor. Shards of crystal scatter like my shattered trust, and Nathan's quick glance from the hallway tells me it wasn't an accident. I'm back at the estate for a family dinner. The table set with polished silver and lies. My seat's been moved to a corner near the kitchen door, a silent demotion. Nathan holds court at the head, his arm draped over Claire's chair, basking in his stolen glory. I barely taste the food, my fork scraping the plate as I fight to. Stay calm. Then I see it, my father's Rolex on Nathan's wrist, its silver face catching the candlelight. That watch was my father's last gift to me, pressed into my hand 2 days before cancer took him. This is yours, Emma, he'd said, his voice weak but certain. Keep it close. Now Nathan wears it like a trophy, tapping its face as he laughs, daring me to react. I excuse myself to the hallway, my hands trembling as I confront Claire. Why does he have Dad's watch? My voice is low, sharp. She freezes, her heels clicking to a stop. It's just a watch, Emma, she says, too quick, too practiced. Don't do this. I step closer, my anger a living thing. Dad gave it to me. He said it was mine. So why is your husband wearing it like he owns my life? She wraps her arms around herself, shrinking. You're making this harder than it needs to be. It's about family legacy. Legacy. The word twists like a knife. First my money, now my father's memory. I walk away before I say something I can't take back, the weight of her betrayal heavier than the ocean outside. That night, I can't sleep. The guest room at the estate feels like a cell, its walls closing in with every creak of the house. I slip out of bed, barefoot, drawn to my father's study like a moth to a flame. The room smells of leather and dust, but something's off. The desk drawers are askew, folders misaligned. My fingers graze an envelope tucked beneath tax records, my name in Dad's familiar scrawl. Inside, estate documents, updated ones. My heart stops as I read. The coastal estate, the business assets, my share of his legacy, all reassigned to. Nathan and Claire dated 6 months after Dad's death. He couldn't have signed these. He was gone. The truth hits like a tidal wave. They didn't just steal my money. They rewrote my father's will, erased me from his story. I sit there in the dark, the papers spread before me, my father's signature staring back like a ghost. Real or forged, I don't know yet. But the betrayal is real, a blade lodged in my chest. Nathan and Claire thought I wouldn't find this. They thought I'd break. They don't know me at all. I fold the documents carefully, tucking them into my bag. As I step into the hallway, the house silent except for the distant crash of waves. I feel a shift inside me. This isn't just about money anymore. It's about my son, my father, my place in this family they tried to erase. They wanted to bury me in their lies, but I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere. The next morning. Nathan stages his boldest move. I walk into the living room to find relatives gathered, some perched awkwardly on armrests, others sipping. Coffee like this is a casual brunch. Nathan stands in the center, a manila envelope in his hand, his smile a polished weapon. Glad you're here, Emma, he says, his voice loud enough to carry. We're about to clear the air. My stomach. Twist. He opens the envelope with a flourish, pulling out papers. You've been saying I took your money, he says, glancing at me. But here's the truth. You loan me $720,000 for a family investment. Your signature's right here. He holds up the document, my name scrawled in ink that looks too much like mine. Gasps ripple through the room. An aunt leans forward, squinting. A cousin mutters, that makes sense. My knees weaken, but I lock them in place. You forged that, I say, my voice barely above a whisper. Nathan laughs, sharp and dismissive. Of course you'd say that. People always rewrite history when they regret their choices. The room shrinks, the family's judgment pressing against me like a physical weight. Claire stares at the floor, her silence louder than Nathan's lies. I want to scream, to tear the papers from his hands, but I'm frozen, my voice trapped in my throat. They're winning, and I'm losing everything, my money, my dignity, my place in this family. I stumble out of the house, the coastal air, cold against my skin, and drive back to the hospital, the weight of their betrayal heavier than ever. I'm parked outside the ICU, staring at the dashboard, numb. Liam's green turtle sits on the passenger seat, its worn fabric a reminder of his bedtime hugs. Tears dry on my cheeks as I pick it up, pressing it to my chest. If I give up, I whisper, what does that make me for him? The question burns, rekindling something fierce inside me. They took my money, my father's legacy, my trust, but they won't take my fight. Not while Liam's still breathing, not while I'm still standing. Somewhere out there, someone's watching, waiting for me to break. But I won't, not yet. Not ever. The ICU waiting room is a limbo of flickering fluorescence and stale coffee, the kind of place that strips time of meaning. I'm back by Liam's side, his small hand warm in mine, the steady beep of his heart monitor grounding me against. The chaos threatening to swallow me whole. It's been 3 days since Nathan's smug performance at the coastal estate, his forged papers waving like a flag of victory. 3 days since I found those estate documents, proof that he and Claire didn't just steal my $720,000, they rewrote my father's legacy to erase me. My chest aches with the weight of it, but Liam's faint grip keeps me tethered. I'm Emma, 35, single mom, and I've decided I'm done being their victim. The hospital's hum is interrupted by a soft voice. Emma? I look up, startled, to see Lila, my cousin, hovering near the doorway. Her usual holiday party smile is gone, replaced by a nervous glance over her shoulder, like she's expecting Nathan to materialize. Lila's the quiet one, the peacemaker who ducks family drama like it's a sport. Her being here at 1 a.m. in a Seattle hospital feels like a crack in the universe. I couldn't stay quiet, she says, her hands twisting in her lap as she sits beside me. I heard Nathan at the estate late one night, whiskey in hand. He was bragging about the money, about you. My pulse quickens, a spark of hope cutting through the fog. Bragging how? I ask, my voice low, urgent. Lila leans closer, her whisper barely audible over the hum of machines. He said he drained your accounts. Said he forged the papers? So no one would believe you. Laughed about it, Emma, like it was a game. My stomach churns, Nathan's smirk flashing in my mind. Lila pulls out her phone, her fingers trembling as she presses play. Nathan's voice fills the space, lazy and arrogant. She's too naive to fight back. Signed everything like a good little Mark. The recording cuts off, but his laugh echoes in my head, a taunt that lights a fire in my veins. Lila slides the phone toward me. I recorded it. I didn't know what to do, but I couldn't let him keep doing this. For the first time in weeks, I feel air fill my lungs fully. Why now, Lila? I ask, searching her face. Her eyes glisten with guilt. Because I should have spoken up sooner. And because you need help. I know someone, Riley, an old college friend. He's a private investigator, deals with people like Nathan for a living. The name lands like a lifeline. I nod, gripping the phone with Nathan's confession like it's a weapon. Thank you, I whisper, and Lila touches my arm, a small gesture that feels like the first crack in my isolation. I'm not alone anymore. We meet Riley 2 days later in a downtown Seattle co-working space, all glass walls and humming printers. He's everything Nathan isn't focused, no nonsense. His handshake firm as his dark eyes size me up. Lila filled me in, he says, his voice steady. We can nail him, but we need airtight proof. Digital trails, paper trails, in his own words. He lays out the plan like a general. Retrieve login records from my accounts, secure copies of the altered will, and if I'm up for it, catch Nathan bragging on camera. He'll slip, Riley says, a glint of certainty in his eyes. People like him always do. I nod, the weight of Liam's green turtle in my bag grounding me. This is for my son, for my father, for the life they tried to steal. The next week is a blur of hospital visits and strategy sessions. Mornings are for Liam, holding his hand as he fights through fevers, his cheeks slowly gaining color. Afternoons are with Riley, combing through my laptop, phone backups, and cloud accounts. I haven't touched in months. One day, he calls me over to his screen, pointing to a log of unauthorized logins. These were made from your devices, he says, but you weren't the one logging in. The IP addresses match Nathan's home and the estate. My anger surges, mixed with a strange gratitude for Nathan's arrogance. He didn't even try to cover his tracks. Every click he made is a breadcrumb leading back to him, but the fight isn't without cost. One night, as I leave Riley's office, a figure steps out from an alley, their face hidden under a hood. Drop it, Emma. They growl, their voice low and deliberate. You don't know what you're messing with. I freeze, my heart slamming against my ribs, but they're gone before I can react, melting into the Seattle drizzle. I tell Riley. The next day, and he frowns, jotting it down. They're scared, he says. That's good. Means we're close. But the threat lingers, a shadow that follows me to the hospital, to my apartment. To every quiet moment, the tension escalates. At the estate, I agree to Riley's plan to plant a hidden camera, but means going back, facing Nathan and Claire again. I drive down the coast, my stomach knotted, rehearsing every step in my head. I smile when I want to scream, accept Claire's half-hearted apologies, let Nathan think I'm broken. The camera goes in a corner of the living room, tucked behind. A photo frame, its lens catching the glow of the ocean outside. That night, I lie awake in the guest room, listening to the house creak, half expecting Nathan to barge in, to know what I've done. But he doesn't. He's too busy drinking, laughing, believing he's untouchable. 2 days later, Riley and I sit in his glass-walled office, watching the footage. Nathan's there, sprawled in his chair, whiskey in hand, his voice dripping with self-satisfaction. We rewrote history. He tells a cousin, smirking. Will the assets, all of it finally in the right hands? My blood runs cold. He's not just careless, he's proud, reveling in gutting my father's wishes. Riley mutes the video, his eyes meeting mine. That's your nail in the coffin. I nod, my voice cold and clear. They wanted war and silence. I'll give them justice in daylight. The plan is set, a family meeting at the estate, where I'll expose Nathan to everyone. The days leading up to the meeting are a tightrope. Walk. I'm at the hospital when a nurse hands me another letter. This one slipped under the waiting room door. Last chance, Emma. Walk away. My hands shake as I show it to Riley, who sends it for analysis. No prints, no trace, he says. Later, but it's proof they're rattled. Then, driving to the estate for a preliminary visit, my car swerves as a tire blows out on a coastal curve, nearly sending me into the guardrail. The mechanic confirms sabotage a slow leak engineered to fail at speed. Nathan's reach feels endless, his threats weaving into every corner of my life. But I keep going, fueled by Liam's improving color, by the turtle on his bedside table, by the promise I made to fight. The family meeting is set for a Saturday, the estate buzzing with uneasy energy as cars line the gravel drive. I send out invitations in my most neutral tone, framing it as a chance to end the fighting. It's a performance, and I play it well, my heart pounding as I step into the living room. Relatives fill the couches, some standing along the walls, their voices hushed but eager. Nathan stands in the center, whiskey in hand, his smirk a challenge. Finally decided to talk like adults, he says, his tone dripping with condescension. Claire hovers behind him, twisting a napkin, avoiding my eyes. I take the single armchair across from Nathan, the weight of their stares heavy but steadying. This is my moment. We need to talk about what's being done. I begin, my voice calm but unyielding. To me, to my father's legacy, to Liam. Nathan chuckles, rolling his eyes. Oh, this again. Let it go, Emma. We've all got problems. I ignore him, opening the laptop on the coffee table. The room stills. Before you dismiss me, I say, listen to this. I press play, and Nathan's voice fills the space, brash and damning. We rewrote history. The will, the assets, all of it finally in the right hands. Gasps ripple through the room. An aunt covers her mouth, an uncle mutters a curse. Claire's napkin tears in her hands, her face pale as death. Nathan lurches forward, his face red. You're twisting things. He shouts, you've always been unhinged, but I'm not done. Riley's voice cuts through on speakerphone. Crisp and measured. I've conducted a forensic analysis, he says. Every unauthorized transfer traces to Nathan's devices and IP addresses. Logins to Emma's accounts happened at 3 a.m. when she was at the hospital. The will was altered post-mortem in Nathan's favor. I turn to Nathan, my voice steady. Tell them why you were in my accounts at 3 a.m. Tell them why my father's will, which gave me my share of this house, was rewritten after he died. The room is silent, the family's eyes shifting from Nathan to me. No one defends him. The front door bursts open with a thud, and uniformed officers storm in, their boots heavy on the hardwood. Nathan Price, the lead officer, calls, "You're under arrest for fraud, theft, and identity tampering." Chaos erupts, relatives shouting, some crying, others frozen. Nathan's bravado cracks, his voice a frantic sputter as he tries to talk over the officer reading his rights. Claire's sobs break through, her hands covering her face. The cuffs click around Nathan's wrists, and he glares at me, his voice shaking. You think this is over? But the door slams shut, silencing him. For the first time in months, I breathe fully, my lungs expanding with something like relief. Claire looks at me, really looks. Her eyes a mix of shame and something softer gratitude maybe. I didn't know, she whispers. I nod, but words feel useless. The family sits in stunned silence, their faces a mix of shock and guilt. This wasn't just about money, I say quietly. This was about my father, about Liam, about every one of you who let Nathan take what he wanted because you were too scared to stop him. No one speaks. They don't need to. I walk out, leaving their silence behind, the ocean's roar, a reminder that I'm still standing. Weeks pass like moving through fog, slow but deliberate. Nathan's empire unravels in courtrooms and bank records, his smugness replaced by silence. I'm buried in paperwork with Riley, visiting Liam, trying to piece together what normal might look like. One rainy evening, there's a knock at my apartment door. I open it to find Claire, a shadow of her former self, no makeup, hair limp, eyes red from crying. Can I come in? She asks, her voice barely audible over the rain. I let her in, and she stands in my small living room, staring at the floor like it holds answers. I was scared, she says, her voice breaking. Nathan controlled everything, what I thought, what I said. He made me believe I'd be nothing without him, and I let him turn me against you. Her words hit hard, stirring anger and sadness in equal measure. This is the sister I grew up with, the one I thought I'd lost long before Nathan stole my money. I lost myself, she says, collapsing into a chair. And I let him take you from me. I'm so sorry. Tears streak her face, and I sit across from her, my hands clasped tight. You could have stopped him, I say, my voice low but steady. She nods, her chin trembling. I know I'll regret it forever. Silence stretches between us, the rain tapping the window like a metronome. Then she pulls a folder from her bag. I don't want any of it, she says, sliding it toward me. My share of the estate, it's yours. It always should have been. The gesture is more than I expected, a crack in the wall Nathan built between us. With Riley's help, we reversed the fraudulent transfers, the legal process restoring my accounts in my place in Dad's legacy. Claire signs over her portion of the estate, wanting no part of Nathan's corruption. One crisp morning, I drive back to the coastal estate with Liam, who's strong enough to walk now, his green turtle tucked under his arm. The house feels different, lighter, mine again. I repaint scuffed baseboards, hammer loose nails, each act a reclaiming of what was stolen. Liam wanders the halls, his laughter echoing, a sound I thought I'd never hear again. Before we leave, I place his turtle on the living room mantel, its worn fabric a beacon of our survival. Standing there, sunlight streaming through the wide windows, I whisper, they tried to erase me. But I'm still here. Justice isn't always loud, it's in the quiet victories. A signed document, a repaired door, a sister's regret. It's in Liam's smile, growing stronger every day. Nathan wanted a war and silence, but I gave him justice and daylight. And as I hold Liam's hand, the ocean stretching endless before us, I know no one will take from my family again.